Hello and welcome back to Yorkshire Talks. I'm Matt Jameson and we're here talking to some amazing, incredible people from across our great region here in Yorkshire, God's own country.
Yes, and I'm Christine Talbot. You might know me for many years presenting ITV News in this part of the world. And in this podcast, we're going to delve into the stories of the people that make this part of the world so very special. And also because we're quite nosy, aren't we, Matt? We like to know what's going on.
We do. And it's all about finding out what makes Yorkshire so unique and special. And we're just having a bit of fun along the way as well.
We are. And today we are joined by a very special guest. She's a Yorkshire woman who has really broken the mould. She's also a great friend of both of ours. We're joined by Rachel Peru. Lovely to have you with us.
Thank you very much. This is going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
I know, I'm excited. Welcome, Rachel. And if you've ever thought of having a dream and you thought it was too late, well, do you know what? Think again. Because you've completely broken the mould and become an international model, an influencer, helping and supporting women with body confidence issues.
Yeah, I started all that at 46 and I still have those pinch myself moments. I think, am I really doing this? Because I would never have done it when I was in my 20s and 30s. So it's never too late.
It's never too late,
Just take us back to your life before you decided to go into the modelling world. What's your life been like up till then?
So I lived in Ilkley. I was born in Ilkley, lived there all my life until 3 years ago. And I had 3 children. Happy kind of everyday life, but didn't do anything spectacular career-wise. Didn't really know what I wanted to do. Did lots of retail management work and just to pay the bills, but nothing exciting. And then I found myself getting divorced at 40, which anyone that's been through that knows that's an interesting...
That's the man you'd been with since
I was 16.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, that's a huge chunk of your adult life. So at 40, it was like, okay, I've got to find out who I am, what I like to eat, what do I want in my fridge, what music do I listen to. So I kind of spent the next 10 years really being on this kind of voyage of discovery, which has been great fun. So I went to university. I was working as an early years teacher in my late 30s. Once the kids were at school, it fitted in because I could have school holiday times and that kind of thing. And so I thought, right, I'll go and get a degree because I didn't do it when I was 18. I didn't go to university. So I went to Leeds Trinity and got an education degree, studies degree. Thought I would be doing teaching now, to be honest, because I loved it. I thought I'd still be doing that. That would be my next career. And then ended up going down this very different path of modelling.
Yeah. How did it all start then? How did that decision, was there something that influenced it or how did it all come about?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Matt and I know each other through the Ilkley Macmillan fashion show.
We do indeed.
A good friend of mine volunteered us both and Sheila, the lady that organised it's very hard to say no to.
It is
So
indeed.
when she said, will you do it? I was like, okay.
You don't really have a choice.
You don't know. So I did that and it was at a time when my confidence was really low. I'd actually carried on working, got my degree, but then my eldest daughter became quite ill, so she was homeschooled. So I had to stop working. So I kind of, after all that degree and building myself up, I felt like I'd taken loads of steps back because I actually found myself just being stuck at home. So it was at a time when I really needed that boost of confidence. And it was just what I needed. As soon as I went on the catwalk, I absolutely loved it. I really couldn't wait to do it again. Mm-hmm. And so I kind of just did it once a year, every year for 5-6 years. And then after about the 6th year, I really thought, I don't want to just do this once a year. How can I do more? And I think there might have been a couple of professional models involved in the show at the time. Yeah. Had a chat with them and they were like, why don't you go for this? So I sent off thinking if I got something in Leeds locally, it'd be a nice hobby. It'd be something that would fill my time. And I got signed with a London agency straight away. So then it was like, okay, I've got to take it seriously.
That's incredible.
I mean, that is quite an achievement because it's not easy, is it, to find a modelling agent? What was it about you and your style that do you think made you so attractive to the agent?
It was actually at a time, it coincided with me stopping colouring my hair. So I'd gone grey. So I had kind of short, white, blonde hair at the time because it was growing out. I'm curvy, so there's not as many curvy older models. And I think it was just at that time, so it was 2017. So it was just when people were starting to talk about diversity in the industry, even though we've still got a long way to go, but that's another story. So I think I just hit the timing right. I think that was one of the things that really kind of I was lucky with. And they obviously saw something in me and that's it. And then I've kind of been working ever since.
That's amazing. What's the process then? Do you just do you have to go for a shoot, or do you send off photos, or how does it kind of all start?
Yeah, people think that you've got to get all this amazing portfolio before you send off to model agencies. And I literally just took some headshots and jeans and T-shirt. They really want to see stripped back, basic, no makeup before they'll even think about taking you on. Okay. So I did that. And I sent them off to loads of agencies across the country. So I was with lots of different agencies at first. And then after the London one, I was like, okay, I'll stick with one. Okay. And I've been with them ever since. So, yeah.
How did you learn the process of being a model? Because, I mean, I know obviously you had the look, but you have to know how to carry yourself, how to have confidence in front of an audience or in front of the camera. That must have been something that took quite a while to build up.
I think I'm still learning sometimes. Yeah, and you don't get any training for this. You don't get told. And I do wonder sometimes if the younger models maybe do, because but maybe you're expected as you're older that you know what you're doing. Yeah. And I remember going to my first shoot and actually feeling physically sick, thinking I have got no idea what I am doing here. That imposter syndrome was real. It was really difficult. But the photographers know what they want. So they're really good at directing you. Mm-hmm. So I probably got a lot more direction at the beginning. Yeah. About what angles to look for and what to do.
I think I'd have knocked back a few stiff bunkers before just to loosen everything. Did you feel that, you have to be relaxed, don't you? And how did you do it?
Do you know what? I actually feel really comfortable in front of the camera, which is weird because there's no photos of me with the kids, for instance, when I was in my 30s, because I hated being in front of the camera. Right. Couldn't stand it. I just didn't want to be seen. I hated it. Whereas now I do like being in front of the camera. I'm really comfortable and I feel confident. So that bit kind of never bothered me. I did always kind of question whether I got the right poses and the right angles. But actually, in terms of standing in front of a camera and being present, it never really bothered me at all. I feel comfortable there.
I think it's about self-confidence, isn't it? Yeah. And actually, like you were saying, you kind of started a new chapter in your life when you got divorced and actually gave you that identity within yourself. And I think that's what comes across, especially when you are modelling, is putting that across.
Yeah. And it's interesting that this came out after your divorce. Was it something you would have been able to do while you were still married and in that relationship?
I wouldn't have even thought about it. I wouldn't have had the confidence to do it. And it wasn't really until I did get divorced that I think sometimes you do need that catalyst to push you into getting on with life and saying yes to life. And so before I'd done the modelling, so when I got divorced at 40, I did really push myself. So I went and did a tandem skydive for my 40th.
Amazing.
I'm terrified of heights. Still am terrified of heights, but I did that for charity. And I then went to Uganda and volunteered there in an orphanage and did lots of fundraising for that. I set up my own charity to help provide playgrounds there, did that in India. So I'd done lots of things leading up to that had really built my confidence. So I was in a much better place when I actually did start modelling.
And do you feel that you needed that? I mean, was that something you were yearning to do in the years when you weren't doing that sort of thing? Do you always have that hankering?
I think I felt unfulfilled. Yeah. My husband at the time had a really successful career, which is great. And he's earned that. He's worked really hard. But I think he was getting bigger in terms of his life expansion and what he was doing. And I was getting smaller. And I think sometimes it's really hard to get out of that. And for me, the only way was to leave that relationship. And I have grown so much. I've done more in the last 14 years than I did from 20 to 40, for sure.
So life really does begin at 40.
Yeah, it does.
It really does. How did your family react to this change in the mum? Someone who'd always, as you said, been in the background more, and suddenly you were out there modelling, doing all sorts of things, going to Uganda. What was you've got 3 children. Yeah. What was their reaction, and also other members of the family?
It's been interesting with the kids. So I've got 2 girls and a boy in the middle. And now they laugh about it. So if someone suggests something and I say I'm going to do it, the kids will go, their natural thing is, oh, of course she's going to do that. Yeah, of course. Whereas I think before they didn't really know, because I didn't probably know who I was. They didn't really see that side of me. So like going off to Uganda and leaving them for 2 weeks was really hard. But them going to see me do that and then come back and share what I'd done, they suddenly saw a different side to me, which I think they really enjoyed actually, and I think it kind of enhanced our relationship because they saw me happy and fulfilled. So I think you are a better mum when you are that way,
and you leading by example as well, and showing your children that they can do anything that they want as well.
Yeah. And in terms of the modelling, they all love it. I mean, my son and I aren't on social media together because no teenage boy needs to see his mum in his bra and knickers. So, we've blocked each other on social media, but the girls are really supportive and he completely gets what I'm doing and why I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that is one of the things that you've done. It's not just modelling. You actually have become a bit of a guru, really, bringing out the body confidence side of things for women and basically saying it's okay to be a bigger size and to be confident in your body, no matter, you don't have to all look like a size 6 London model on the catwalk, do you? You're doing this and you're out there and inspiring a lot of women. Why did you decide to go down that route as well?
I didn't plan to at all. I thought when I first started modelling it would be kind of QVC lifestyle stuff, which I've done and I really enjoy, but I didn't think it would be beyond that. That's all my expectations were. And within the first year of me modelling, I'd booked a job with an American brand called Swimsuits for All. And it was Ashley Graham that had got her own label with them. So I was booked to go to the Bahamas with Ashley Graham and Lizzo when I spent a week there with them.
Oh, wow.
And I came, so I was 47 then. And I remember Mark, my husband, took me to the airport to Heathrow and I literally couldn't get out of the toilet. I was in tears. I was thinking, what the hell is this 47-year-old woman going to do on a beach in swimwear with all these people? I felt so out of my depth. But I came back from there a different person.
Yeah.
Because when you're with people that are so body confident and just getting on with life and embracing everything, it really does have an impact on you. So, and then the feedback I got from doing that from other women my age was so great. I thought, well, why are we made to feel embarrassed about our bodies at a certain age? So that kind of pushed me down a different direction. And the more I did it, the more I realised that people could relate to it. And it's just taken me down a very different path. And I know I say it, but I would never have thought I would be doing this at this age because I wouldn't have worn a bikini on the beach in my 20s.
So it's a complete turnaround.
Yeah.
You also started, you're the first of, you've got 2 successful podcasts. You started the first one. Why did you do that?
I think because at the time I was really feeling like I'd kind of needed to reach out to like-minded women of my age that were maybe changing direction. And we're not talked about in the media still, particularly women. It's got better in the last 8 years since I started it. But at the time, there wasn't a lot of positive press about women in their 40s and 50s reinventing themselves. So I was always kind of looking out for people on social media that had done similar things and started new hobbies or, started to learn new skills. And so I thought, well, I'm going to share these on my platform and interview them because it always motivated me and inspired me. Exactly. So I thought, well, let's create that ripple effect.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. And I think you've mentioned social media already and sharing your story on social media and with the podcast and everything. How important do you think social media has been for your career in what you're doing now? And how important is it to share that positive message on social media? I follow you. I think it's incredible what you put out there. And I've got a big following as well on social media. And I know there's kind of a little bit of a responsibility there because I feel that as well. How do you relate to that?
I really think it's a positive space. I really like being on it. There are times when I just wish I could throw my phone away for a week. I think it's been a great way. I've met some amazing people through it, in person that have become friends. But I just think if you are careful about using it, it can enhance your life. And I think it's been a great tool for women that maybe are underrepresented to be able to get their own story out there. That wouldn't have that opportunity normally. I would never have had any opportunity to do what I'm doing if there wasn't social media, because it's just a great way for other people to find you.
It is, and having that positive impact on other people and other people's lives and reaching out to them. You do that.
Well, I mean, Rachel and I have worked together over the last couple of years, looking exactly what you were saying, where that this particular time of a woman's life where you feel like you're being put in a box a little bit and expected to do certain things in life or behave a certain way. And that's exactly what you're saying we don't have to do. Yes. And we've been involved in Find Your Midlife Magic, which is an event that we've done every year, which we get people, speakers, and we're always amazed, aren't we, at the response, the number of women who want to come and be involved in that community, really, which is like, you can live your life any way you want, no matter what your age, which is fantastic. And that's what you're about. But before that, you did another venture called Silver and Sassy, didn't you? With Annie Stirk, which was celebrating the white hair. And tell us a little bit about that and how that came about.
Yeah, so I mean, I've been grey since I was a teenager. My grandma was completely white in her 20s.
Really?
So it's in the genes. My sister now is completely white too.
I love the grey though. I think it suits you. And
It's lovely. It's a beautiful white colour.
that as well.
Oh, yeah. When
I started going grey when I was like 23. And
I'm still reaching for the dye at the moment.
So I was really conscious of the fact that I'm like coloured. My hair's been every single colour of the rainbow, is from navy blue to white to black to plum, you name it, I've had it. And it got to about 46 and I just thought, I don't want to do this anymore. I just got it was every 3 weeks of having a full colour. A, it's really expensive. B, time-wise, it's really boring and it's hard to fit into your diary. So I just thought I'm going to stop. And I had a really short hair at the time, so it was so easy to grow out. But and then Annie reached out to me, Annie Stirk, because she was involved in York Fashion Week. And she said, she messaged me and said, listen, your name's been put forward. Annie's got silver hair. And she said, I really want to do something to celebrate grey-haired women. So I was like, well, yeah, absolutely, let's meet up. And we really hit it off. So we did, our first event was celebrating that. So we had volunteer models, all grey hair, talks. And it's just because, particularly women, like men, you're silver foxes and all that kind of thing. Whereas women are kind of made to feel like they're over the hill, they've let themselves go. They don't get the same positive image still, I don't think.
No, and I don't understand that, because actually it looks so great, I think. And I think women with really white hair really striking.
Yeah.
I think it's got a really great look.
Yeah.
I think it's got better. I think it has got better in the last few years. But the first modelling job I ever did, I was booked by, I think it was Better Life Pharmacy Company. And I was booked as a grandma because I had grey hair. So the tick back, it was a tick box exercise. But so for about a year, you could find me modelling bath aids and blood pressure monitors, reclining beds. And the worst thing was, it went to everybody's house. It was one of those doorstep things.
With the bath that you walk in, you close the door,
That was 46. But because I had grey hair, they kind of pinpointed me.
That's changed so much. The jobs that you get now are not like that, are they?
I wouldn't do that. To be honest, if someone asked me to do that now, I would actually say no. I'd say, go and find a 70-year-old or an 80-year-old who actually needs it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not true representation, is it?
No, it is not. No. But I also, you do embrace, you'll go on stage. I've seen you do a talk where you actually do go on stage in your bra and knickers, which takes a lot of confidence to do, but there's a reason behind it, isn't there? You talk about how as a teenager there were difficulties in your life and that you had to overcome those to become the woman you are today. What were those difficulties? What happened?
Well, yeah, I think I'm a big busted woman. I'm a 34G. I don't mind talking about it. But as a young woman, by the time I was 17, 18, I was a double D. And the amount of, we're talking back in the 80s, where men would think you were fair game if you walked past them in a pub to grab you as you were going in the way, past them, or to make lewd comments. So I really found that really difficult, because I was quite shy when I was that age. I was really insecure. So that completely, I used to then wear baggy jumpers to cover up. And then someone would say, well, you've let yourself go. You're just wearing baggy clothes all the time. So as a woman, it's like, I can't
win. Yeah.
No, exactly. So I found that really difficult. It knocked my confidence. And then I was 21 and I was sexually assaulted by a man in position in the health service at a time when I was really vulnerable. And that really made me feel completely ashamed of my body. And I buried it. I didn't talk about it at all. I never told anybody about it. I just thought, if I forget about it, I won't.
Why did you feel the shame? What do you feel it was somehow your fault for?
Because it was all around my breasts. It was all around the size of my boobs. And so I thought, well, because I have got them and they're there. At the time, I was 21, and I thought, well, I've brought this unwanted attention on me, because you do. I think that's how lots of people I've talked to that have had sexual assault experiences do make that they take it on themselves and feel like it's their fault. They've done something wrong, and now clearly I know that that's just not the case at all. And actually, I'm really angry with myself for not doing something about it at the time. But at the time, I just wanted to get out of there and forget about it.
I think at that time, when it would have happened, there was not that much support there,
Yeah.
and it was, dare I even say it, a man's world, and women were kind of repressed in that way.
Especially if he was a powerful man.
Yeah. Like, there's a part of me that thinks I probably would have been told to just get on with it and forget about it. And, it's just one of those things.
Which is horrendous.
Yeah.
Horrendous. And thank God we have come so far.
It is. And you've turned that round now to the point where you are happy. You go on stage with your bra and knickers. And I think I've seen women in the audiences that you're speaking to, and men too, going, wow, it really does have an impact. Why do you think that is? Why do you think there's I know in a way, I suppose there's a shock factor because you suddenly just take off your dressing gown and there you are. You look amazing and you look like a normal woman, but a beautiful normal woman who's completely at one in her own body. And there's something special about that.
I think it's that word normal, isn't it? Because we don't see older women's bodies represented. So we don't have images that we can relate to. We don't see bodies that we can relate to. We're bombarded by seeing women in their 20s and 30s. If you go by a bra in a lingerie shop, there's no images of somebody that looks like me when I go in and try something. I didn't look like the girls in the 20s that are up there.
No, I always say that. I never look like the 20s.
So how's it going to make you feel in your 50s and 60s? It's so, I think it's really important to normalise that. And it took me a long time. By the time I got to 30, because I hadn't dealt with all this properly, I booked myself in for a breast reduction. I was like, if I can have a boob job and just, get myself sorted, I can wear a backless dress in summer, I don't have to worry about it, and that will be all my problems solved. And I don't know what stopped me, but probably when I actually really read into it after booking how horrendous it can be, I got scared. So I cancelled it. And actually for me, I'm glad I did. But it has been a journey of really pushing myself out of my comfort zone to accept my body. And now I wouldn't change any of it.
Change it for the world, and it's acceptance of that. It's interesting, you just mentioned then about the 20-year-old women and there's no curvy representation. But I guess from my point of view, from a man's point of view as well, because I do feel a bit of pressure with it, because you don't go into when you see all the underwear for men, there's no normally shaped men. They're all ripped within an inch of their life. And you turn on the TV, you've got Love Island, you've got Dating Naked, which unfortunately I did watch with Ryland, which I did find quite interesting. But it was really, the thing I found with it was that the women were very well represented because there were curvy women and all different shapes and sizes, but the guys all looked exactly the same. And they were all ripped, all muscly. And I think it's great that things are moving forward with women, but I've got a little niggle that it's not that the same for men.
Yeah.
And it's really weird
that
the representation for women seems to be moving forward. But when it comes to men and that kind of modelling, they've all got to be ripped.
Yeah. It's almost like when women do it, it's seen as a brave and women are applauded for doing it. But men, what would we do if we saw a pot-bellied man, in an advert for underwear? I don't know. What would your reaction be?
Well,
it should be.
I'd be like,
good for him.
Like that. I'm going to buy that underwear.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's interesting because we've just done the Oakley Macmillan fashion show again. And when we first started, there was hardly any men. When you first started doing it, there was hardly any men doing it. It wasn't maybe 2 or 3. Now it's half men, half women. And they've now started doing an underwear scene.
Yes.
And I thought when it was suggested, what we thought we'd never get these men doing it. They were, we had 12 men doing it this year, and they are all different shapes and sizes. And the audience and the men and the women in the audience were so supportive. And I think you're right. We don't see enough of men's different body shapes, particularly as you get older. Yeah, it is always just one look. So I don't think it's just a women's issue. I think it's less talked about for men.
Yeah,
definitely.
But one of the things that has happened since you've started your new career is your husband, Mark, who was a businessman. This is your current husband. He decided to go into the same route, modelling and a bit of acting as well. So is that down to you? Have you inspired him?
I think so. I think he's kind of entered my world a bit. Yeah, I mean, he was corporate banking for 40 years. And kind of... After COVID, just started thinking, he's 59 now. He was like, I really don't want to be doing this much longer. What can I do? And actually during COVID, we both do quite a lot of sporting walk on Emmerdale because it's, half an hour down the road. It's a great team. I love doing it. So Mark started doing that with me and he really enjoyed it. So then he's kind of got signed by Zebedee in Sheffield, which is
that
a
an
great model agency.
Right.
It's with Jador with me as a couples board. So he's really busy. So he's doing that full time now. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. But I think it was because he'd seen what I was doing, the freedom. And what I love is he's now doing this creative job that he didn't have the opportunity to do before, which I think is, and again, it's a subject that we don't often talk about men changing careers later in life. It is usually women that talk about it. Yeah. So it's been really good fun to see him do that.
Oh, that's brilliant. What a great story to see that you've inspired your husband.
And you're doing a lot.
Doing something that you love.
And working together. You do shoots together, aren't you? You recently did one, didn't you? We had you snogging on camera. Tell us about that. They were.
Sounds interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, it was for a menopause campaign called Gen M. And they're based in Leeds, actually, Gen M. And they do lots of great work with brands, helping raise the awareness of menopause products. And they'd done this great campaign, and they had lots of different like athleticism and all these different things, and we were erotic. So Mark and I were kissing and ended up on billboards in Leicester Square.
Oh, that's
back at the Metro. Yeah, no, it was a really good campaign because it was showing women of our age really in such a positive way, and it wasn't all doom and gloom. Yeah. And I spent the day kissing my husband at work. So that's
great. A great day at the office. But that's probably one that you don't want your son and your daughters to be watching. You don't want your mum kissing.
Yeah, it's funny. Not actually, because normally I kind of keep them up to speed with what I'm doing if there's big campaigns coming out, and I just kind of let that one go under the radar. And they'd obviously seen it, and they did say, "Oh, were you at Leicester Square?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Oh, that's incredible.
But I've got to know you so well over the last year when we've been working on our own event, and you just have such a varied life. I mean, what would a typical week for you be like? Because you can be flying across the world at any moment's notice. How would you describe a typical week for you?
I don't think there is a typical week, unfortunately. I do wish there was a little bit more of a kind of consistency to it, because it literally can be, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was in Greece for 3 days, came home, went straight to London, worked all day in London, came home from London in the evening, and then had to be in Manchester the next day. So 1 week can be full on like that. And then another day can be just 2 days in London, or this week I'm on Wednesday. So it really does vary, and you don't get a lot of notice. So it's really hard to plan. Like, I have no idea what I'm doing this month, really. I'm optioned for lots of jobs, but I don't know exactly what's happening.
It's all very last minute.
It's always last minute, yeah.
Is that something you enjoy, or is that a bit of a downside, not being able to make a plan?
I do like change. I'm the kind of person that likes to have different things going on, and that I can pick and choose. I think I would be bored now in a kind of 9 to 5 routine, but sometimes it would be nice to be able to say, yes, I can make something and then not have to change it last minute because I'm working. It does make it hard.
How do you see the future going? What do you see the next 10, 20 years looking like?
I definitely want to keep modelling. I'm just in the process. I'm going to touch some wood somewhere. My US visa's gone off, so that's really exciting. So hopefully I'll be working more in LA.
Oh, so does that mean that you're able to work over there a lot more than you are now?
Yeah, which will be really exciting. So we'll see what happens next year with that.
Well, that does sound exciting.
Yeah, no, it's what I've been working towards. So I've really wanted to do that from the beginning, really. So it's taken a while to get.
And would Mark go and do the same? Is he?
Yeah, but I wouldn't go and live there. But I would like to go a month at a time and work.
Yeah.
Is there a big call out then for curvier models?
Yeah, there is.
Over in LA, because when you think of LA, you kind of think of the 20-year-olds slim in the bikinis and stuff. Yeah. Is it changing over in the States as well?
I think for me, one of the good things is it's a niche market, and there aren't a lot of women my age that are really comfortable doing it.
Okay.
So the ones that do really well. And I think it's the same for LA. I think, there's not as much work here for swimwear, for instance, where there is in LA.
Yeah.
So for me, that's what I love doing most, the swimwear, the lingerie. So we'll see what happens. It's exciting. Yeah.
Good luck with that.
Thank
that
you.
Sounds so exciting.
Can't wait to see more of that. Now, we ask our guests here on Yorkshire Talk to bring in 2 things. The first thing we ask is something that says Yorkshire to you, as you're a Yorkshire woman.
Yes. This is going to be a bit random. This is my front doorstep. So it's a tile that says A up.
Hey up.
So
I love it.
it's just because we saw it on Facebook Marketplace, and I love how friendly people are in Yorkshire. They're just, and Mark's noticed that because Mark's from London. So when he moved up to Yorkshire 10 years ago, he was like, I can't believe how people are so much friendlier and people are really welcoming. You go into a shop and people chat to you. And, you know, coming from the centre of London, he grew up with it being quite different.
Quite different. And he's a lovely guy, Mark, as well. I've met him a few times. Really, really fun guy.
And do you find that when you're working away, do you look forward to coming back?
Yeah, I do. I love working in London. I love the buzz of it, but I like coming home to Yorkshire. Yeah. I can't imagine not living somewhere in Yorkshire. Yeah.
Fantastic.
And the other thing we ask is...
Yeah, it's something that means something that's
special
close
to you.
Special to you.
Yeah, so this is a really beautiful silver daisy bracelet, and it actually belonged to Mark's mum, and she sadly passed away before I met Mark, so I never met her. And Mark and his sister had this and gave it to me, so I had it refitted for myself, and I wore it on my wedding day. So I feel like it's the only thing I've got, and it just feels like it's a really nice connection to somebody.
It's really beautiful.
The history, and I love jewellery anyway, but I don't wear a lot of it. But when I do wear, I wear it a lot. So this is really special. If I lost this, I'd be absolutely heartbroken.
That's absolutely lovely.
It is.
And I know that just looking to the near future, on a personal front, you've got a wedding to look forward to.
Yes, yeah. My first daughter's getting married next August. So plans are afoot. And I'll be going out and buying my outfit, which should be very exciting.
Mother of the bride.
Bride and all that. Yeah, so that's a biggie. That's going to be a big celebration.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And that with the whole family coming together for that, what an amazing celebration.
Yeah, it'd be lovely. Yeah, no, it'd be great. Bolton Abbey, so it's going to be a beautiful setting. So yeah, can't wait.
Oh, it'll be lovely. Your girls and your son, you've got such beautiful children. Her children are gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. So she's going to make a very beautiful bride.
She is. We've already done the first few wedding dress shops, and so
She picks the wedding dress.
she's having one made actually. So it's a very exciting process. Yeah.
Oh, incredible.
Yeah.
And what's your new son-in-law like?
Yes, he's lovely. I really like him. We get on really well, and she's very happy. And they're a great couple together. I can't imagine them not being together now. So,
yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah,
it's lovely.
Okay. Oh well, it's been absolutely lovely. So much to look forward to.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
It's been brilliant.
yeah.
So yeah, we will be back with Yorkshire Talks. Don't forget to like and subscribe and see what we're getting up to in the near future.
Thank you so much to Rachel Peru. It's been great working with you as well, Matt. But for now, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. See you soon.